Hello everyone, welcome back to The Media Couple. I'm Rory.
And I'm Sophie.
Where we break down the latest in film, TV and entertainment from an insider's perspective.
Yes, today we are talking all things Strictly with Claudia Winkleman and Tess Daly's huge bombshell news this week about them leaving. We're then going to be talking about MTV music channels, which are closing down in the UK. And finally, we'll be ending with a Rotten Tomatoes game. This week, it had to be dance themed, obviously.
Oh, how exciting.
So you've got that to look forward to at the very end. Also, just a little bit of housekeeping. Because you guys loved our Celebrity Traitors commentary so much, we've decided we are going to bring that back as a separate series. So we will continue to do these podcasts for those of you who are not watching Celebrity Traitors. And for those of you who are watching Celebrity Traitors, you can also get all our thoughts weekly still on the podcast, but also on a playlist within the YouTube channel as well. And we will do that separately. So we'll be putting out twice the amount of content.
Yeah.
Just
what can we
for
say?
You guys.
We just love you guys so much, you know?
Exactly.
But yeah, should we crack on?
Yeah, let's crack on.
Okay.
So the big news this week, Claudia Winkleman, Tess Daly leaving Strictly Come Dancing.
I mean, that is pretty big news.
Yeah.
That's huge news.
I think the thing that's interesting about this, obviously, interesting that they're leaving, but what is more particularly interesting is how it was announced. So Claudia Winkleman and Tess Daly, for those of you who don't know, have been the presenters of Strictly for what feels like an age. Tess Daly has been there since the beginning. Claudia Winkleman, I think, joined about 10 years ago.
Yeah, Tess Daly's been there for over 20 years, right?
Yeah, she joined it when it first started. So they are, the fixtures of this show.
They're very much pillars of that show.
It's one of BBC's biggest shows.
Yeah, it still does really well for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in a scenario, like Strictly for the BBC, they have, they've got internal publicity teams and, internal marketing teams and all of that. And the showrunners and everything they're constantly having conversations back and forth between the BBC and the production company that make it. And something like Claudia Winkleman and Tess Daly leaving would be something that the BBC would want to get out ahead in front of.
Absolutely. And I feel like, yeah, definitely.
So what happened, Claudia Winkleman and Tess Daly announced it on their Instagram just on a Thursday morning, and the BBC hadn't put out a statement.
Interesting.
It then took the BBC around 2 hours before they put out a statement. And now there are some sources that are coming out reportedly saying that the BBC were pretty much blindsided by this announcement.
Oh, interesting.
Which I think is, interesting.
I think it is interesting because, like what you say, like historically, when large, presenters, big presenters at the BBC leave, there's always a press release about it.
Yeah.
Always a press release.
There's
what I mean?
probably an exclusive with, an industry paper or a normal, a big paper.
Yeah, absolutely.
About the announcement. It's also very much planned. It felt a little bit like, it just felt like they were just announcing it. To announce it on their Instagram as well doesn't feel like the way the BBC would go about normally doing something as big as this.
Yeah, definitely. Feels like Claudia and Tess pulled the rug a little bit from under the BBC.
Yeah, but I don't want to, I think the thing that I'm conscious of is I don't want to say that they did that because they've had this long-standing relationship with the BBC for a really long time. It would feel very strange to me if they had genuinely blindsided them.
Yeah,
like
and
this.
tried to jeopardize the relationship. I mean, let's not forget, Claudia is on, it leads the biggest show on the BBC, in the Traitors.
Well, yeah.
So it's like you wouldn't want to do anything that damages that relationship either.
And also, they've been in the industry long enough. They know what they're doing. I don't think they would do something like that,
No.
which is why I think it's really surprised me that this is the narrative that's being spun, that they basically like blindsided them and that's the power of the presenters, because it also just doesn't feel like something that you would do to essentially an employer who you are also currently in a contract with.
Yeah.
Now, whether the fact that the BBC press release didn't come out until 2 hours afterwards, maybe that was just they got the timings wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But then again, we don't know. This is all speculation, right? I just think the narrative that this has been spun and like this is, they've gone rogue.
Yeah,
just doesn't feel like what you would do.
Yeah.
Regardless. And also Deadline this morning announced, it is currently Friday morning when we are filming this, Deadline this morning revealed that Claudia is poised to get her own BBC chat show.
Oh, interesting.
So if you're leaving Strictly to go and do a chat show with the BBC, why would you mess up that relationship or do anything that might potentially be
damaging,
difficult.
to partners that you're going to ultimately, she's going to continue working with these people.
Exactly. And also they're professionals. I just don't see it.
No.
I just don't see it in that way.
No, I mean, hearing that now, maybe it sounds like, Claudia's given a long time, and Tess Daly, they've both given a huge amount of their careers to this show.
Yeah.
And maybe now it's just a time where like, oh, look, we think, we want to almost reward you and we think you do really well with your own chat show.
Yeah.
So for Claudia, it's like, well, yeah, I'd love to have a show where, I am the main person.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think, to be honest, what's happened is there's just been a comms mismatch. Mm-hmm. I think that's all that's happened. It's been a timing mismatch. I think they probably had a conversation with a few people, but then it's more of an exciting story.
Yeah, it is.
If they pulled the rug out from underneath the BBC, so of course that's the one that you're going to run with. But the reality of it, and I might eat my words, but I just doesn't feel like something that
it
they
should
would
have been. Where is Claudia? We know where Tess is. We found her, but where is Claudia? She's in a castle up in Scotland, trying to get these faithfuls to do a better job. That's where she is. They know where she is.
Exactly. But I think the bigger question, regardless of them leaving or how they left or all of that, is what is going to happen to Strictly and who is going to take over their role?
Well, who would you like to see take over their role?
Oh my! I mean, at this point, Alan Carr.
Alan Carr.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't see that happening. But I think that would be fun. I don't know. I was thinking about this. Eurovision. Hannah Waddinham did Eurovision.
She did, and she was really good.
And she was really good at Eurovision. So I feel like Eurovision moving to Strictly, it feels like it's not necessarily that far of a leap.
Yeah.
AJ Odudu, she's big.
Yeah, she could do it.
And she's doing lots, and she was also on Strictly previously.
But she's ITV, isn't she?
She is ITV.
Which, the crossover, I don't know. She's on a big ITV show, who knows?
Yeah. I think for me at the moment, I think Hannah Waddingham is definitely somebody who I feel would fit pretty well into that world.
Agreed.
I don't think Alan Carr, although that would be fun.
I would just love to see Alan Carr do it.
Or Joe Wilkinson.
Yeah. What if Alan Carr and Joe Wilkinson did it together? Yeah.
That would be
It'd just be
funny.
like, I loved the spinning.
Yeah, I know. I could see Holly Willoughby coming back.
Okay, interesting.
To presenting a bit in something more
a big show.
A big show. Yeah, I could see her doing, because she did Dancing on Ice.
Yeah, but ITV though.
I know, but she did Dancing on Ice. I feel like Hannah Waddingham and Holly Willoughby.
I think that is a good shout. Yeah, they would suit it, I think.
Yeah.
I think they'd suit it really well.
I could see that. I think that's going to be, who would you say?
Yeah, no, I agree with them. I mean, look, from a dream scenario, it would be Alan Carr and Joe Wilkinson for me, That's who it would
Fair
be,
enough.
let's get the funny people on there. But then it's like, look, from the world of dance and, theatre, I don't know.
Yeah. Or what about Alison Hammond?
Alison Hammond. Well, she's already on the Bake Off.
Yeah, I know.
Look, we love Alison, okay?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
She can't do everything.
She can't do it all. Her schedule's packed already.
Do you reckon if you got offered Strictly and you were on Bake Off, would you leave Bake Off to go to Strictly?
Yeah. The tents aren't that far from each other, I've heard. The tents and the ballroom, you just nip over. But she'd just be like, oh, sorry, I'm just on my way.
Very funny. It's two very different types of shows.
What would be amazing if Alison, and I could see her doing this, being like, I just felt like it was slightly underdone, the dough. Yeah. And they'd be like, Alison, you're on Strictly. I meant the dance.
Yeah,
I meant the dance was slightly underdone. Yeah, I could see that. But yeah.
Oh dear, I think it's going to be definitely interesting because they're staying. So Claudia and Tess are staying until the end of this series.
Okay.
Which ends Christmas, December, around that time, and then it's going to be a whole new show essentially, because Tess and Claudia are like the anchors of that show, at least for viewers, I'd say.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
and it's hard, isn't it, when you lose such anchors after such a long time?
Yeah.
That sort of replacing process. I mean, we saw it historically with famous shows like Top Gear.
Yes.
Sometimes you can never get back to it.
No.
It's really hard to replace those cast members, those core team members.
Yeah.
Because ultimately fans follow people they love,
Yeah. And I think it's really interesting as well because Claudia's like a bit more, I mean, she's always been mainstream, but she's really on our screens all the time.
She is, yeah.
And, especially at the moment with her leading
Traitors, Celebrity Traitors.
So she's Traitors, she's Strictly. If she's then doing a chat show as well, I think they need to have someone who is of her caliber in terms of audience familiarity.
Yeah, she's clearly well loved by audiences.
Yeah, so I feel like we need to, have somebody who is in that vein come step back into
Maybe Alison Hammond is the one.
Yeah. But I feel like Hannah Waddingham could do it.
Yeah,
I feel like she'd be really good. She'd be
charismatic, from like a theatre acting background, gets it.
And when she did well at Eurovision.
She was really good.
You could see she's good at presenting because it's difficult, not everybody can do it.
100%.
Not all actors can do it. And so the fact that, she did it and she can sing and
exactly, and she did it really well.
Yeah, I feel like
that's where your vote's going. I feel like that's where it's going. Okay, Hannah, if you're here.
I'm on the campaign for Hannah to get it if she wants it.
If she wants it, yeah, who knows? We need to speak to her still. Tune in next week.
That would be amazing.
That would be cool.
Anyways, so yeah, that is all the Strictly information that we have so far. Absolutely. So nothing more than you guys have. It's just our thoughts, feelings and concerns.
Exactly.
But yes, MTV, Rory.
Well, a little bit of, sad news, I think, really. I'm not sure if you're all aware, but the world's first 24-hour music broadcaster, MTV, decided to axe lots of its music channels here in the UK. That includes MTV Music, MTV 80s, MTV 90s, Club MTV, and MTV Live. Now, it does ultimately feel like an economic inevitability with these sort of shows, and these sort of channels. Yeah. It's like during the 80s and the 90s, when you were watching music and wanted to start curating your own personal taste in music, where did you go? You went to MTV. When it started, it was kind of like a generational thing that was just so culturally like in check with everybody, It was like the version of what TikTok and TikTok, Spotify, YouTube is today.
Well, it's interesting that you bring those up because I think for me, MTV really shifted when YouTube became, if you remember, in the early 2000s into the early teens, music videos on YouTube were like the thing.
Yeah.
That was the big thing.
A lot of effort went into them.
Justin Bieber's Baby music video, I think at one point was the highest watched video on YouTube.
Yeah, ever.
Music videos were watched on YouTube more than they were watched anywhere else at that point.
Absolutely.
And I think that's kind of where the shift happened, because once you had people leaving MTV and going to YouTube, they were then within the YouTube ecosystem. And as we now see, YouTube being the channel that has the most content out there and also viewers.
Yeah.
It's overtaken terrestrial TV now in terms of viewership. So I think it is a logical step for a channel and a, essentially business that was relying on people watching the content on TV.
Yeah.
If people are no longer going there to watch that stuff, why would those channels work? And in recent years, there was that show Catfish.
Yeah, well, this is what I was going to say. I mean, staying on the music video stuff, like, let's not forget as well that huge directors made their names in music videos, in the 80s, the 90s, early thousands even. Music videos were a massive sort of medium for people to show off their artistic and creative skills to hopefully get you onto feature film work. David Fincher started in music videos. Spike Jonze famously did the one with Apple, the Anderson .Paak song. Yeah. So this was a platform for creativity as well, right? Yeah. It's like you got offered music videos because at the time studios were putting lots of money into it, like Universal Music Group, Sony Music Group, lots of these big music companies would put loads of money behind their artists because that's how the songs got shown, high production value videos, high production value music, obviously, and then populate it on a channel that was highly watched. However, I kind of feel like when YouTube came, right, MTV, I think, were kind of like, oh no, we're still MTV. We're still music.
Well, they were, of course they were.
Which of course they were. But what I think they did is they went, we can't stop this train. The train is here now. And then sooner or later, Spotify came. And then when TikTok came, it was kind of like, we're completely out of the room now. This channel sort of existed now more for a nostalgia-based audience where people were still watching music and curating their music taste by watching a live channel. Yeah.
But I think as well, MTV was, sadly, MTV, even when we were growing up, was not the beacon of like cool anymore. It was in the 90s and it was what you watched, but that was because, the internet wasn't really a thing. Like the type of content that MTV made was the type of content that the internet was made for.
Yes, absolutely.
That was what digital platforms loved, that kind of content that MTV was so great at. So, when the youth trying to capture that youth market, if they're not watching TV and you're MTV, you've got a big problem.
Absolutely.
I think there's an element of inevitability.
Yeah. And I kind of like want to touch on what you were saying as well. Like MTV kind of diverted into shows like Catfish.
Yeah.
They diverted into shows like Geordie Shore. That's what they did here in the UK. They went, okay, we cannot stop the advanced tech companies like YouTube and these platforms that are growing and music creators putting music on there. But what we can do is we can divert and make reality television shows.
Yeah.
So that channel is staying. The normal MTV channel, which shows Catfish and shows Geordie Shore and stuff like that, is staying. But I am curious for how long.
I think it's interesting because obviously, you look at the rise of digital channels nowadays, you look at how well YouTubers are doing and how, Channel 4.0 and, all of those that go with it, right? That feels quintessentially MTV.
Absolutely.
That kind of content.
Yeah.
So the fact, I get it. Keeping Geordie Shore going, keeping Catfish, all of those kind of shows that are currently working for MTV. Do it. We've still got Homes on the Hammer that's still been going, and Antiques Roadshow.
Replays are still being shown, aren't they?
I don't think there's, it's just, are you really going to be driving new people into your channel? Probably not.
I don't think so, no, because like Geordie Shore, for example, came out at a time when I was younger. I was like a big watcher of that show, However, because they all get older, you start to not watch it anymore. You lose your audience.
Exactly. And the same kind of content that Geordie Shore was when we were watching it is now on YouTube.
And also
it's foot asylum content. It's,
yeah.
Sidemen. It's like, who is, Nico, who is in Traitors.
Yes, exactly.
It's clear that that's becoming at the forefront. So it's a shame because MTV, there is so much nostalgia, and it did create some great.
It was really cool,
and it created some amazing
cool.
content. But it just wasn't fit for today's world anymore.
No,
because it's just not where people watch.
It's very curious, isn't it? But I feel like that is a case study where you go, that channel existed in a time and place that was perfect for that channel.
Yeah,
and unfortunately in the new world, and the time came for it, basically.
Yeah.
Like, ultimately it's like, I just couldn't see a way where it survived nowadays, which is why I understood why they went, we're losing the music audience. We need to go into reality TV because that's how we stay in the room.
Well, it's like Thriller, the song Thriller by Michael Jackson, right?
Okay.
That music video, we weren't alive when it came out, but
it was cool.
But that music video, from what I understand, was the thing to watch. It was culturally so ginormous, right? And that sort of time was also when, all this money was being pumped into these music videos because they were basically shaping culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those music videos were the lifeblood of youth culture.
Of course, absolutely.
So musicians and music executives and TV executives were like, we're going to give you all the money. And then when that slowly started to go away, when youth culture was no longer really centered around music videos and it was shifting a little bit, the money slowly started to dip down.
Yeah.
And I would argue today, music videos are not what they were for youth culture.
No.
They just aren't. Which is why the money's not there, because it's not the return on investment from a business perspective, sadly, isn't there. Now, that doesn't exactly sound great in terms of like creativity.
Yeah, well, we
have to remember it's a business at the end of the day.
I do also feel that, look, of course, the reason loads of money was pumped into making music videos brilliant was because of the ad revenue they were getting from putting it on linear television back in the day. And, if a company like Budweiser,
or if you were Pepsi and you had,
in the video,
and you've got millions and millions of eyes on your music video, they're going to pay for that.
Millions in revenue.
Which is why the money was there.
But then the other side of that coin, I think, is, the age we live in now is there was a time where loads of artists could never even get music out. They could never even showcase their music because they were sort of, there was
because the big guys were dominating.
Exactly.
And you had to pay to play.
How many TikTok artists now have come up via TikTok?
Yeah.
Loads.
Yeah.
In a world where they would have never, ever even been seen. Probably never been in the room, but they've now been given a platform like YouTube or TikTok, and they've been able to actually grow and become successful.
Yeah. I think it's a shame, but I also think it's just a sign of the
times. Yeah. I think that's a good way to put it.
As Harry Styles put it.
Yeah.
Don't stop your crying. It's a sign of the times.
Exactly. You were right, Mr. Styles.
Anyways, moving on to the Rotten Tomatoes game. As I said, this was going to be dance themed this week. So we have some good dance movies that we are going to talk about.
I'm not going to dance.
No.
Wouldn't want that.
So for those of you who do not know what the Rotten Tomatoes game, that is basically where I say a name of a film. Rory tells me what he thinks the critic score and the audience score is on Rotten Tomatoes. I tell him if he's right or wrong. We discuss the film, we move on. He never gets them right, but we still play this game because
got like one right.
I think you guys like it.
So.
That one time. Yeah. So first one. Step Up, the original.
Oh, now we're talking. Now we're talking. Channing Tatum. Come on, let's do it.
The original. I think it was like 2006 that it came out.
OG film.
Yeah.
OG. Okay, but I don't think it's done. I don't think it's done amazingly.
Go on. What do you think?
So critic score 70.
Yeah.
Audience 71.
Okay, critically 22%.
See what I mean? Wait. Whoa.
Audience score 83%.
I knew, yeah, because when I
I think that has to be the widest gap we've had.
That's a big ding ding ding.
Yeah.
That is the biggest gap we've had.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know. Not surprised though, because I remember watching that when I was younger, and I was like, "This is really cool."
Yeah, but in terms
the
of
story is terrible.
In terms of like a critical, reading of the show of the film.
True.
It's not highbrow.
No.
No. But it's fun.
It's fun, yeah.
Like most dance films.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Anyways, next one, moving on. Dirty Dancing.
Oh.
No one puts baby in the corner.
No one puts baby in the corner.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a critic score of 80 and an audience score of 92.
Okay. Critically, 72%.
Okay.
Bit higher. Audience score, 90%.
I was 2 off. Come on.
I know.
I can see.
I'm not giving you a point for that. You have to get it bang on.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Bit harsh, but it's fine. It's fine. We pick ourselves up.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not surprised by that. I think culturally that film has a place in time that will last forever.
Yeah.
It's so famous.
Oh yeah. And it's the lift scene.
Yeah. I mean, again, the story is just ridiculous, but it's...
The story's great. Don't know what he's talking about.
Sorry. Yeah, no, it's amazing.
Black Swan.
Now, this is a film I could see done really, really well.
I mean...
I love this film.
I know. I have a bit of a bone to pick with Black Swan, but that's only because I did ballet for a long time. So it's not exactly... It's not realistic, but it's not realistic either.
You could call Darren, couldn't you? Darren Aronofsky. See, I love it because he directed it.
It's Darren Aronofsky's version of ballet.
Yeah, which I loved.
Yeah, which is fine. But don't watch Black Swan and think that's what ballet is. Okay.
I hope not. Imagine.
It's a nightmare.
First day, you'd be like, oh, that was awful.
Right, go on. What do you think the scores are?
I'm going to go for critically 90. Audience 88.
Okay, critically 85. Audience 84.
I'm done.
You're very close.
I'm cooked.
Billy Elliot. The original Billy Elliot.
Here we go. Billy Elliot, I'm going to go for an audience score.
I think Julie Walters in that?
Julie Walters is in it, yeah. She's great.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for a critic score, of 90. Audience 95.
Okay, critically 85.
Okay.
Audience 89.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going high with these.
I know.
I feel like that is a great film.
Billy Elliot was a really good film. If you haven't watched Billy Elliot,
watch Billy Elliot.
You should do it.
Yeah.
It's like a classic.
Yeah.
And I had to put this one in because it was a classic. The Full Monty.
Oh, now we're talking. I think it's like
the original.
The thing is, I've been giving all of these higher marks all the way through because I think that they are, I mean, what does that tell you? But I think
that you like your dance films.
Listen, bonus content. live stream me dancing, me watching the dance.
We're gonna do the Dirty Dancing lift, and I will be the one lifting Rory.
That's it. The full Monty, 83% critic, 85 audience.
Okay, critically, 96%. It's the only one that was the highest, and in the 90s. And audience score 79.
Wow, so lower on the audience score.
I think the Full Monty's a great film, so I don't know why there's such a disparity.
The audience preferred Step Up more than the Full Monty.
I know. Weird. But anyways.
That's it, guys. That's it.
That is it for this week. That is the Rotten Tomatoes game and everything else. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. As always, if you did enjoy this, please do like, follow, subscribe, drop us a comment. It really does help other people find us. We put these out every single week. If you haven't gone and watched the Traitors episode that we have done this week as well, make sure to go and watch that. It is a good one. We will see you next week. Thanks for being here. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.